and welcome to Morris County Chamber of Commerce's Actionable Advice webinar series. Today's webinar is how to start strong, stay strong, and have a breakthrough year with John Allen Mollenhauer. So John Allen Mollenhauer is known professionally as John Allen, or by his initials, JAM, and he's a human performance entrepreneur, lifestyle coach, and founder of Performance Lifestyle, Inc. He is also co-founder with his wife and partner, Mariana Susan, of a new proactive recovery concept called Regena Centers in Florham Park, New Jersey. He is one of the foremost thought leaders on this next step in the evolution of lifestyle, and he co-authored his first book, The Curse of the Capable. It's the hidden challenge to a balanced and high-achieving life, with a Harvard psychologist and a Super Bowl MVP, and is currently working on his next book called Manage Your Energy Like a Pro: How to Crush It Without the Crush of Excess, Stress, and Fatigue. So I will tell you this, when I first met John, he was thinking of joining the chamber, we were talking about what he does, and I kept on putting him in the box of, oh, you're a fitness guy. Oh, no, you're a nutrition guy. You're a health and wellness guy. He kept pushing back, no. And then finally, I got it, but it took me some time to figure out what he's doing. And he really is doing something, I think, that is clearly on the cutting edge of performance lifestyle, and it's called Performance Lifestyle. So, John, the floor is yours, and take it away. We're looking forward to learning something today.
Fantastic, Mike, and it's really great to be part of this actionable advice webinar. Hi, everybody who's joining us live and watching the digital replay. I'm really excited about this. We're just about mid-January. Actually, we're 5 days beyond mid-January, and today's topic is really about how to start strong, stay strong, and have a breakthrough year. If you've been watching any of my articles on the Chamber blog and on Facebook and on LinkedIn, you've heard me talking about this whole idea of a breakthrough year, right? Most of us understand the concept of a breakthrough. As you can see, that really bright line going through the wall. A breakthrough is when you go beyond what your present situation and circumstances currently are, when you achieve an ambitious goal that you actually set and followed all the way through on, something that is beyond your present capabilities and capacities. So I'm going to shed some light on what enables you to do that and what will enable you to do that in 2021. So I'm excited about this, and let's get right into it. Again, my name is John Allen Mollenhauer. Most people will see a lot of the content that I put out there in the world labeled as JAM. JAM is my initials. People always liked it, so I kept it. I'm a performance entrepreneur, and I founded Lifestyle Coach to help entrepreneurs, business owners, and service professionals, people who are new into the game and people who've been around for a long period of time, get free of the distractions that hold them back, not just from achieving their full potential, but a slight twist of words here, living their full potential so that they can achieve their ambitious goals, especially when you're in the second half of your work life or your life in general, because I want to help you. I like to help people. This is something that I needed in my own life to recapture the zest and zeal that we used to feel earlier in our lives, because we want to make the most of the time that we have, and we want to achieve our God-inspired dreams. So that's more than just health and wellness. And that distinction that Mike was making in the introduction is very, very important as we go further into this presentation. That's my wife, Mariana, my son, Ian, and my 3-year-old daughter, Grace, waking up on Christmas morning. So it clearly wasn't a picture that I posed for. My hair is matted down, and now you understand why. So let's get right into it. What is going to enable you to have a breakthrough year in 2021 and beyond? And frankly, it doesn't make a difference if it's January or July. At any given time, when you start to manage your energy, you are going to have a breakthrough. And when you learn how to live it, manage your energy like a pro, which is sort of opening the door into lifestyle. Forget sort of, it opens the door into how you live your life when you do it like a pro, you are going to have a breakthrough year. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what that means today. Today, I want to share with you 3 practical strategies on how to do that so that you can have a breakthrough year. All right, so let's set a context. Let's set a premise for everything that we're going to talk about. People wake up to be successful. They do not wake up to be balanced and healthy. This is a premise that I learned a long time ago. You know, from the moment you pull the covers off to the minute you start engaging with your children, getting them off to school, you know, getting into maybe some pre-work life, going through your morning routine, getting into your to-do list to accomplish and achieve throughout the day. That's what people wake up to do. They don't wake up to be balanced and healthy. But as a result of this, many of us do not have the lifestyle that will enable us to achieve our ambitious goals with our health and well-being intact. And we see this all over. It's just extremely common. Now, here's the thing. We want health and we need high performance, especially in 2021. But instead, too many of us are constantly working with diminished energy and without the energy that we need to achieve our goals with our health and well-being intact. Do you see that juxtaposition there? The reason is simple. It's because we're responding to stressors in our lives, from work to life, you know, which are basically one and the same. We're responding to these stressors in ways that are creating more stress, not less. And it's partly because we've confused tiredness with a badge of honor, right? You know, let me go through these couple different viewpoints on how we view human energy. Tiredness at the end of the day is normal. I experience it, you experience it. Everybody listening to this experiences tiredness at the end of the day. And periodic, now key word here is periodic. Periodic exhaustion is normal after a major event, a big push on a company project. If you're someone who is athletically minded, if you did a marathon, at the end of it, any kind of marathon-like effort, you expect to be exhausted at the end of it, but not what we see today. What we see today is constant tiredness, okay? That is not normal. Regular exhaustion is not normal, and the resulting chronic fatigue is not normal, and it is the primary cause of disease. So the number one cause of disease is excess stress and fatigue. 80% or more of all healthcare spending in the US is tied to the treatment of conditions that are rooted in poor lifestyle choices. So I want you to kind of get this relationship between managing your energy and lifestyle. And what happens when we start to face excess stress in our lives, and it starts to create fatigue, and how it affects our lifestyle. So keep that in mind as you're going through. Now, here we are, the American College of, get it, lifestyle medicine, right? Because right out of the gate today, the trend in medicine is lifestyle medicine, because lifestyle is the only true answer to suffering from lifestyle-induced diseases. Case in point, chronic diseases and conditions such as hypertension, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, multiple types of cancer, which most people think is genetic, are among the most common, costly, and preventable of all health conditions. And by my data and a lot of other people in the fields of energy, health, and human performance, it's more like 95%. Now, here's an example of what not managing your energy looks like. That's me. What's so interesting about this slide, and I'll just give you a few insights about it, I'm probably in the 1% healthiest eaters in the world at this time, okay? I still am. But you can see in my eyes, I am tired out. I'm exercising really well. There's just so many good things that are going in lifestyle-wise, but I hadn't really delved into the idea of managing your energy. And you might say, well, hey, John, maybe that's you just at the end of a marathon. Well, I was at a convention, and it was like a marathon, but as most of us have experienced. But I was like this almost all the time during this phase of my life. And I actually went into the convention super exhausted. So believe me when I tell you, I know what it's like to go after like big goals in your world. But then, you know, down deep, you're like, wow, like, I don't know if I have the energy to keep up with all this. And that's exactly how I felt. And this is right around the time that I started developing what's called a performance lifestyle. And it was based on a simple premise. You see, we're taught to achieve our goals in the world so that we can live a better lifestyle in terms of what we can wear, eat, afford, all that kind of good stuff. But those are like the fruits, the spoils of achieving your goals, when in the reality is we need to manage our energy and live a better lifestyle so that we can achieve our goals with our health and well-being intact. So this brings up what's called the achievers, or actually the society's dilemma. Today, we have access to more information and opportunity than ever before in human history, and we can achieve more than ever before. But here's the dilemma. The busier we get, the less time we have to take care of ourselves, our bodies, and our lives. So it's no surprise why people go through their day all day long. You tell them that they need to live healthy. I know back then I needed to live healthy. And then we try to wedge in a little bit of, what we learn in the latest magazines about, maybe get a little more sleep, maybe eat a little better, maybe, exercise a little bit more. But it just never seems to really gel or really seems to fit. And without the space and time for personal energy renewal, first and foremost, we're prone to cope with stress in ways that create more stress. And what this does is it gives rise to vicious cycles and a downward spiral. A vicious cycle is when, let's say, you're eating nutrient-poor food. No amount of eating less of nutrient-poor food is ever going to solve your problem, when the fundamental problem is that you're not eating food to begin with that's meeting your nutritional needs. You're just using that as a common example. So you're going to be stuck in a vicious cycle. You're never going to get the food game right if you're fundamentally out of alignment with what a healthy food is. So if you take that and then maybe combine it with, say, poor sleep, that's one vicious cycle with another vicious cycle. And before you know it, they combine into what's called a downward spiral. And most of us have downward spirals, premature downward spirals, operating in our background that prevent us from moving forward in a position of strength. A lot of us pass it off as aging when it's not. It's just ineffective living, right? It's just living where we're so focused on success, but we don't have the lifestyle to support it. And who suffers from this more than anyone else? It's entrepreneurs, business owners, and service pros. It's not the athletes. They have their own challenges, but it's the people who are up to achieving big dreams. So do you know anyone suffering from this? Someone who's dealing with overwhelm, overstimulation and under recuperation, overeating and drinking, undernourishing foodstuffs, super busy but physically inactive, and dealing with the fatigue, aches, pains, weight, mental and physical health complications that will inevitably, predictably result. It's practically the status quo today, and it's also the number one reason why people go to the doctor: stress and fatigue. So managing energy and stress goes hand in hand. Now, I'm going to buzz through these slides pretty quickly. There's a lot of information on them. So as I'm talking, you can just read through these. For starters, it's when you're overwhelmed. You're spending more energy than you're recuperating. And that forces us to overexert, not just mentally and physically, but biologically. And when you start to overspend your energy biologically, you will feel it. You'll almost feel an anxiety because you just don't feel that sharpness, that mental acuity, right? You have brain fog that starts to take you over. And overexertion is not just a physical experience like repetitive stress. If you look at this woman on the slide, she's pointing to her hand, right? She's pointing to her hand thinking her hand is hurting, but her overall energy is low. And when she is constantly typing, right, it starts to show up in her hands. It's both a physical issue, but it's also an energetic issue, meaning she's overstimulating her nervous system, and where her hands are, they're starting to essentially get worn down. So it starts a progression. You go from overexertion, which would be the typing, to tiredness, to exhaustion, right, to fatigue, which starts to lead to aches and pains and inflammation. Once you start having this underlying condition, it leads to increased injury. And then your limiters start to show up, places where you've got previous weakness. Then, of course, sickness starts to enter into the equation as our immune system strength, which requires an enormous amount of energy, is diminished. So why are we so stressed? We're stressed because we're saying yes to everything and have so much going on that we're barely hanging on. A lot of us are high achieving for the wrong reasons, thinking that there is such a word called indefatigably. You've heard this, people talking about this. Oh yeah, she achieved, she's indefatigable. I assure you, you're completely fatigable. And when you're taking on more because you're capable of it. We chose this fun picture to the right because you can see how she's just enamored by all she's accomplishing and achieving. She's got all these medals. And so many of us get caught up in the story of the love, the respect, all the things that are going to come with achieving our goals. Yet, when we have too many of them, or we're aiming too high, and again, we don't have that lifestyle, we're not managing our energy, and we don't have the lifestyle to support us, we, in effect, start to tire out, wear out, burn out, and trade our health for success. But you can't manage energy well in the face of excess stress. Our responses to stress are also part of the equation. It might even be the other half. I don't know if it's 80% or 20%, but it is the other side of the equation. It's when our responses don't enable us to cope in an energy efficient, mark these words, energy efficient and health promoting way. And we don't change or eliminate the stress that's bearing down on us. When those things are not happening, we develop what are called hidden lifestyle challenges, which work against us. Easiest example, most common, is you reach for junk food to stimulate your way through the day. Junk food doesn't nourish you. It causes problems with food addiction. It toxifies the body. And now, in addition to the stress you're currently facing, you've now got the stress that just got insulted on your body. So everybody, myself included, everybody is facing excess stress in 2021, not just because of the pandemic, but by the sheer pace of life, the rate of change, and the impact of technology. So we all must develop a lifestyle that supports us and what we are up to in the world. And what I'm asserting in this presentation is that changing your lifestyle starts with managing your energy. This is a quote from James Moss, author of Power Sleep. He said, most of us are functioning at a level that is far from optimal, far from the level of alertness that enables us to be energetic, wide awake, happy, creative, productive, motivated, and healthy human beings. And I know a lot of you, I argued this for years, that I was doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. Yeah, when you're here, you're just fine. And you don't realize that you're doing just fine for here, but you could be here. And this is where breakthroughs happen. So here's a great example of this, right? We're all working, we no longer have the 8 hours of work, 8 hours of life, and 8 hours of sleep model. Everything just sort of blends together. We have 16 hours of all out work between work and, taking care of our families. And then we try to just go to sleep, and it doesn't work because you have no buffer zone. So you go into what's called sleep debt. Sleep debt is the difference between the amount of sleep you should be getting and the amount of sleep you actually get. It's a deficit that grows over time every single time we skim extra minutes off of our nightly slumber. That's by William C. Dement. He's by far the foremost leader in sleep worldwide. Of course, this leads to insulin, obesity, insulin resistance, heart disease, and Americans suffer from it. We're actually only getting about 6.5 hours of, get this, not just sleep, but total time in bed, which means we're getting even less sleep. We'll unpack that in another conversation. I coined a term called energy debt. Energy debt, because sleep is only one way to get your energy back, right? So it's really energy debt. It's overspending our energy at the core. It's the cumulative effect of overstimulating your central nervous system. That's the excess stress. And then overspending your energy, that's the tiredness, the exhaustion, or the fatigue, and then not proactively managing your energy effectively. The consequences of energy debt: poor health, lower productivity, limited quality of life, and declining personal performance. So what's the primary way to reverse that trend and get on the path to living a balanced and healthy, high-performance lifestyle? It starts with learning how to manage your energy. Now, manage your energy, this is a term you've seen probably floating around the internet and through various books over the course of, say, the last 15 years, is comprised of three things. I'm offering you some new insights on this idea. Managing your energy means when you're sourcing energy, enhancing your body's production of energy, and harnessing your energy for what you are up to in the world: life, career, business, your sport, your creative pursuit. So let's get into practical strategy number one. The first is recharging your body. You can see that your body literally is a battery, and I'm going to make that case right now. Now, just for credibility purposes, I want you to know that this is not just an idea that I'm talking about, you know, at a theory level. I run a center in Florham Park, New Jersey called Regena Center. I see people recharging every single day. I see the before and I see the after. I see what happens when they get, in this case, red and near infrared light that is literally charging their body battery. I see what they feel like when they come in and how they feel when they leave. And I ask questions, you know, how do you feel? And it's amazing what different people they are when their body battery is higher. Now, let me explain this. As you can see in the picture in this book, Energy for Life, your body literally is a battery. If you're up here where it's really dark, you can see the body battery. I'm looking at like the book cover here. Up here, you can see where my cursor is. Up here, all of your function is there. Come down to the next block where your body battery is sinking lower and you start to lose function. You start to move into brain fog. You start to lose certain capabilities. Go one step lower and aches and pains will start showing up. Go one step lower and disease conditions will start to show up. Your body literally has the properties of a battery. It takes in water, nutrients, oxygen, pulsed electromagnetic field, which I'll explain in just a moment. It excretes carbon dioxide, toxins, and water. But as these inputs cross this cell barrier, a charge is produced. And I'll show this. It's called an action potential. And I promise you, this is the most scientific I will get in the entire presentation. Most of us have heard of things called a nerve impulse. It has another name, and this is a scientific term. I love it because it both fits for our lives as well as being a scientific term. It's called an action potential. During the action potential, part of the neural membrane opens to allow positively charged ions inside the cell and negatively charged ions out. So it's going like this all day long, all day. And what it does is it creates a charge called an action potential. That action potential travels down a neuron. So as I'm talking to you, thousands of action potentials are happening right now. Millions, trillions of action potentials are happening right now. And I'm drawing down on a currency, literally voltage, that's being created by these charges, which are creating energy that is literally stored in the membranes of the cells. And they all sort of like coalesce to create power in your nervous system. And when we overstimulate the nervous system, that's why we burn out. But here's an interesting fact about action potentials. Watch this contrast. The human being goes through the following phases. First, they sleep. Then they go through normal activity. And at times, they go through overactivity. They're stressed, they're agitated, they're irritated, they're over-aroused. And then they start to experience fatigue or burnout, tiredness or exhaustion. The neuron literally goes through the exact same phases. It sleeps, it rests, it has normal activity, including normal recovery, or what's called a refractory period in neural language. Then if you overexcite that neuron, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to recover or it's going to get destroyed and need to be replaced. So you can see that burnout is not just a conceptual idea, it is a real idea. And when you overstimulate your nervous system, you end up like this guy. Here's the interesting thing about action potentials. They never decrease in strength. So when you have a nerve impulse, boop, 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 you have this nerve impulse. It never decreases in strength, but it definitely decreases in frequency. Now, what I mean by frequency is instead of going boop, 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 right? It's like boop, beep, beep, right? I know I'm sounding kind of crazy, but you kind of like turn into a drunken sailor at the end of the day. You're like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't even think straight, right? Just like this dude who's propping himself up with coffee because he overstimulated his nervous system. Do you see already, without, if I never said and didn't say anything more, how important managing your energy is? Because if you go through the day and you're too overstimulated by 10, 11 o'clock, you'll have no choice to either recuperate, which is going to make you feel tired, or stimulate, which is going to make you feel energetic but make you more tired. I'll explain. You see, what we're doing is we're misinterpreting tiredness, exhaustion, and fatigue. We often think like something's wrong with us because when you're hungry, it's like, I'm hungry, I need to eat. You might feel a little bit of discomfort depending on how well you've been eating before, but fatigue feels especially hard because it's our life force. And when we're tired, we have to recuperate. And that means our function decreases. And that's the reason why instead of, solving hunger with food and thirst with water, instead of recuperating, we stimulate. And stimulating feels good, except it undermines your health and success. And recovery doesn't feel so good while you're going through it, but coming out the other side, you feel phenomenal. So what if fatigue is the feeling of regeneration or a recuperation, not something's wrong with me, or I can't function, or I have a bad attitude? When you are literally recovering, it's like plugging your iPhone, plugging your phone, like plugging your phone. Fatigue is the recharge. You're basically tapping into the great cosmic outlet and you are literally recharging. So let's talk about what energy is itself. For all too many of us, we think it comes from not enough of this, which is sleep. Like that's where we think it comes from, which that's part of it. That's more like the time for the body to do its thing. Energy doesn't actually come from this. And too much of this, the Monsters, the Red Bulls, the Starbucks, the 5-hour energies, none of which provides us any energy because we're falling for the stimulant delusion. Simply put, it's when you put substances in the body or subject the body to intensive activity that forces the body to put forth vital action. For a period, you think what you consumed or how intense you've exerted gave you energy, but in reality, it consumed it and it actually made you more tired. So you want to avoid the stimulant delusion. Of course, the two most common are caffeine and sugar, addictive, fattening, and disease promoting. And neither of these things are actually giving you the energy that you are suffering from not having. No one is suffering from a lack of calories in today's day and age. They're suffering from a lack of vital energy. Hold on to that term. And by the way, a lot of people will often say to me, John, no, you can't attack somebody's coffee. Listen, I'm not a health and wellness guy who's trying to pull something out of your life. I'm a human performance guy who's trying to teach you that you need to change, improve, and optimize. You need to manage your energy, change, improve, and optimize your lifestyle so that you have the energy you need to succeed. And it just simply doesn't come from caffeine and sugar, ever. Stimulation doesn't create energy. It pulls it from your reserves. It compromises your health. It adds to overwhelm, exhaustion, and the overweight condition, and it cripples your long-term energy management. So one more scientific slide. What is energy? It's most commonly viewed as the metabolism of nutrients. And I'm going to make the point right here and right now that is a very limited, even though it's an important one, it's a very limited view of energy. The human body uses 3 types of molecules to yield the necessary energy to drive ATP, which is, many of you have probably heard as the currency of life: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And all of this is our prevailing description of how energy is generated in the body. It happens in the mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell, and that's the way we currently look at energy. Now, I can put this to a test right now that this is not the primary source of energy, because skip sleep tonight, stay out of the sun, and overexert today, yet eat the healthiest diet in the world. Get all your proteins, fat, and carbs, and watch how tired you still really are. So some think it comes from this, that it comes from exercise. Well, exercise is a stress. It is a stimulant. Now, in this case, it's a stimulant with a return on your investment of energy, and it makes you more efficient. But energy does not come from exercise. You're just experiencing more of the energy that you're spending when you exercise, and it makes you feel invigorated, but not necessarily regenerated. It also goes by a lot of other names like chi, prana, nerve energy, vital force, life force, mojo, and a whole lot more. This is a more esoteric look at energy, like the energy system of the 7 chakras. A useful idea, but it's not very practical for most of us because, like, what do you do with this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? You just can't do much with it. But it is useful and it is a good reference point. For our purposes, I want to focus on 2 simple concepts: power and fuel. Most of us, when we're running out of energy, we say our tank is empty. No, your tank is not empty. It's not even close to empty. You have a reduction in power. You're actually losing amperage, voltage, right? You have two forms of energy in the body. It's electrical energy and physical fuel, which is food. But unlike a car, your battery, your body battery, needs to shut down for a while in order to recharge, right? You've got mechanisms inside of an engine where, let's say your battery died in your car, where once you drive the car for a little bit, it's charging the battery. But in the human system, it's very, very different. You actually have to stop for the battery to recharge. It does not recharge on the fly. So what is energy? In the body, it's electricity first, voltage, fuel second, think food, and it's experienced when you spend it. Now, when you're tired, you feel when you're recuperating, you actually feel tired. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to have a breakthrough year, if you want to start managing your energy like a pro, you've got to start sourcing energy and enhancing the production of energy so that you have the energy to break through, like you saw in that first slide when I opened up this presentation. That is the very definition of a breakthrough. You're not going to have a breakthrough when you're tired, worn down, burning out and wearing out and feeling fragile. You're going to have a breakthrough when you're feeling anti-fragile. So you've got to start tapping in to the multiple sources of energy. Briefly, sunlight, air, water, food, the earth, right? Literally charge your body battery. But here's the biggest secret of the day. You feel energetic when you're spending it, but you feel tired when you're recuperating it. That's not the secret. The secret is that if you're feeling a low-grade sort of biological fatigue, sort of chasing you, preventing you from having that zest and zeal that you want and need as a business professional, that means you're overspending your energy all the time and you are chronically recuperating. There's nothing chronically wrong with you. You're chronically recuperating because the body is always trending towards health. So the thing it's going to do first and foremost is try to always help you get your energy back. And if you fall for the stimulant delusion in this sense, you are never going to get your energy back. But that's just one insight of 8 breakthrough energy discoveries that I share when I train people on how to manage their energy and eventually like a pro. I do an intro to personal energy. I help you get your energy in motion, help you go through phytonutrient-rich foods, reduce your energy debt, and a whole set of key insights. These are the linchpins. These are the needles in the haystack. These are the tripwires, if you will. If you don't get these 8 things right, you can never manage your energy, let alone like a pro. Now, I'm going to share with you 2 really big ideas. These big ideas are why you haven't learned that much about energy right now. I was doing some work with a PhD. Her name was Catherine Pastille, on personal energy management styles and influence on work performance. This is going back about 10 years ago. And as I was reading through her paper, she brought out a point. You can read about this more. I provided the link below. That back in the days of Maslow, when all the new motivational science was coming out, Maslow divorced motivational theory from energy because he said that all physiological states are themselves motivating, according to Maslow. Basically, energy was taken out of the motivation equation. And it's why you never learn much about it and why motivation has always been from the neck up, as if it was a function of willpower. Your willpower is based on your battery power. So it was like divorcing yourself from an inconvenient truth. It made it become a personal issue, and motivation was an issue of psychology. When motive plus ation, that's, you need to have a motive plus energy. That's the suffix for energy. Motivation, you need both energy and a motive if you're going to be motivated. If your battery's starting to get drained, so will your motivation. Another reason to master this, how to manage your energy and doing it like a pro, is because biologists, by the way, in the 18th and 19th century, I mean, you're going back a couple hundred years, they couldn't empirically measure the spark or the elan vital, the life force that was that's in the human body. So they literally refuted this idea. Yet vitalism has a long history in medical philosophies. Many traditional healing practices posited that disease results from some imbalance of vital forces. This is straight from Wikipedia, but don't pay attention to it for a second. You actually don't even need to run a test. You can prove this in your own daily life experience. Okay, that life force is built on energy. And Einstein himself said, essentially, everything is energy, including you. So these two facts are these two insights are what have turned our modern day motivational theory into a game of psychology, and why we are, I guess, so haphazard with managing our energy, because we don't understand energy and we don't know how to manage it because we were literally never taught. Managing your energy, sourcing, enhancing the production of energy, and harnessing it are literally the rudders to your vessel, to your body brain, and they greatly affect how you live. At any given point in time, your decisions are going to be affected by your energy levels. It will determine what you do, how you do it, when you do it, at what level you do it, at what intensity you do it. And if you want to have a breakthrough in 2021 and beyond, you've got to learn how to manage your energy and do it like a pro. So I just shared with you some insights on how to source and enhance the production of energy. Harnessing it is a complementary concept. It's when you control and make use of your natural resources, especially to produce energy, to achieve what it is you are up to in the world. Remember, we all wake up to be successful. So is it your diet? After everything we've just said, is your diet or exercise or a sleep program that's going to enable you to manage your energy? No, it's not one or two or three aspects of your lifestyle. It is your entire lifestyle, your entire lifestyle. And that's what most people do not have a concept for. You see, many of you might be thinking at this moment, well, you know, John just wants me to take naps all day and maybe get more sleep and improve my diet. All those things would be true to a certain degree. But remember, you're talking to a human performance guy. You're talking to an entrepreneur. I know the demands of running a company. I know the demands of growth. So in a world that demands the most from us, where we are still aiming high, I don't want you to aim any less high. I want you to aim high. Then we need to get our needs met regularly, and I would add systematically. And that requires more than a healthy lifestyle. That's the given. That's not the goal. We need a healthy performance lifestyle. And that has a great deal more skills involved. You see, this is what a balanced and healthy high performance lifestyle looks like. As you can see, there's more to living a balanced and healthy high performance lifestyle than just eating and exercising and maybe getting a little more sleep. You actually have to have a balance of skills. When I talk about living in balance, what I'm talking about is a number of different ideas: energy expenditure and recuperation. But what I'm also talking about is that you have to have the right balance of skills at play in your life, so that you know what to do and when, how to do it, and what to do it and why, how to do it and when, at the right level, the right intensity and consistency for you. The more skilled you are, the better you will live, even amidst incredible amounts of stress. But I will tell you this too: part of a performance lifestyle is learning how to streamline and simplify your life, to actually change the stress itself. Too many health and wellness professionals, and as a lifestyle coach, people automatically assume I'm only talking about health and wellness. No, I'm talking about human performance, productivity, and achieving your goals, right? You need a balanced and healthy lifestyle in order to do that, or else you'll burn out or trade your health for success. So I teach all of the human performance skills, which really becomes a lifestyle. And that's how you have a breakthrough. These are the 12 lifestyle habits you need to know to manage your energy like a pro. As you can see on the first line, regenerating your life force energy, eating a whole foods, nutrient-rich diet, and activating and strengthening your body are only 3. They are literally only 8% of an entire performance lifestyle, and they're only 25% of the lifestyle proper, right? Most people think that's it. They wake up, go, hell bent on achieving their goals, and they wedge in a little bit of recovery, a little bit sleep at night, maybe 6.5 hours, eat a little bit better, maybe they go to the gym, and then the rest they don't even look at as their lifestyle, right? And what I'm helping you see is that while your lifestyle is one thing, right? If my name's John, my lifestyle is one thing, but it's comprised of many things. And like pearls in a necklace, like links in a chain, when you get competent in all these skills and you connect them all together, you get incredible surges of energy and forward moving momentum. So why pay attention to this? Because your energy, your health, and your performance capacity and your success, the kind and quality of success that you want, depends on it. So what if you had more peak energy? What if you didn't misinterpret fatigue or make poor lifestyle choices due to tiredness or limited willpower? What if you had genuine and generous reserves of energy for the performance you need to succeed? And what would your life be like if you didn't have to deal with that low-grade biological stress that was chasing you all day long, where you're drinking coffee to get through the day and eating your way to get through the day and engaging in extreme work ethic to think through the day and willing your way through all parts of the day? And you didn't have to trade your health for success the way so many people do, the way I did for decades. What if you didn't have to do that anymore? Well, you would be thinking like an athlete. Now, you'd be managing your energy and you'd be doing it in a performance lifestyle that you can call your own. The idea of a performance lifestyle was born in elite athletics, but you do not have to be into sports or even a fitness enthusiast to apply this idea. One of the things that athletes do incredibly well is they directly link their lifestyle with what they're up to in the world. You would never hear an athlete say, I'm getting ready for the Olympics. I'm thinking of maybe cutting some calories, maybe getting a little extra sleep. Maybe even going to start hydrating myself. I mean, you would be like, Michael Phelps, what are you doing? You can't think that way. My mother would say that to him, right? You can't think that way. You're getting ready for the Olympics. Well, are you getting ready for the game of your life in 2021 and beyond, the rest of your life? You got to think like an athlete. You got to directly link the way you're living with what you're up to in the world and start to optimize, change from where you are, improve on the changes you make, and then optimize so that you can achieve even your most ambitious goals, not while, but by living in balance with vibrant health and peace of mind. I'm sharing this with you because I want you to have a breakthrough year, a genuine, bona fide breakthrough year. It's only going to come if you have lots of energy. It's only going to become a breakthrough year if you actually reduce and eliminate the distractions that are holding you back from living what is now your full potential. You don't achieve your full potential. You live your full potential, and that gives you the ability to achieve your ambitious goals, right? You've got to live the full potential. Your full potential is first and foremost defined by how much energy you've got. If you're dead, you have no potential. If you're highly energetic, you've got lots of potential, and then you can apply it towards achieving your goals. And that's really the purpose of your lifestyle. So what I want you to do as we come to a close here, I'd like to suggest that you go to lifestylecoach.com/download, lifestylecoach.com/download. and download this ebook called Set Yourself Up for Success. The kind of success that you want. It goes into the 5 lifestyle strategies that successful, high-achieving people embrace to achieve their ambitious goals. Notice these are lifestyle strategies. Let me give you a sense of what they are. These are the 5 lifestyle strategies that successful high achievers embrace to achieve their ambitious goals, and not only achieve their goals, but do so with their health and well-being intact. When you understand your present situation and circumstances, where you are and where you want to go to, when you can move on from the weight of the past. I'm not talking about the weight just around your waist. I'm talking about the weight of expectations and things that didn't go right in the past, things that are just weighing you down, getting in your way, right? Distracting and holding you back. When you start to actually live from the very best part of yourself, I'm talking about absolute you. When you start to live from what you really are, right? Who you are and how you are in the world will completely change. And notice, I didn't even get you into the performance lifestyle yet. These are just the bookends. Then you start developing a performance lifestyle. That's when we start getting into all the other tools, like I showed you on previous slides. And you start to change, improve, and optimize the way you live. And then when you align how your life is structured, the lifestyle that it reinforces, and your goals, you will become a healthy, high-achieving person who thrives. You will start to achieve even your most ambitious goals because now you know what it means to live in balance with vibrant health and peace of mind. These are no longer just ethereal concepts, confusing concepts, which are like, yeah, I kind of got it, but man, I don't get it. It's like trying to package water in a brown paper bag. I don't understand it. No. For a breakthrough in 2021, you've got to learn these ideas in context. Everything you do in context, in a system, like a lifestyle success system, because everything you do, and if you're going to do it well, depends on it. So go to, I'm going to show you this one more time. Go to download, Set Yourself Up for Success at lifestylecoach.com/download. And I'd like to take you through these 5 major lifestyle strategies that all healthy, high achieving people know and live by, so that you can have a breakthrough year. Breakthrough. Just like this guy. When you start to manage your energy, on the left, he's kind of tired, worn down. He's like, whatever. I've set these big goals, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. On the right, because he's managing his energy and doing it like a pro, he's got the energy that he needs to succeed. And I want you to have that too. All right. That's it for our presentation today. I hope you enjoyed this actionable advice webinar. I hope you saw that there are 3 things you can do. Start recharging your body battery. First and foremost, start to enhance the production of the energy that's produced in your body, in that body battery, right? Not just relying on sleep alone, and then learning how to harness that energy in what we call a performance lifestyle, balanced and healthy, high performance lifestyle over time, and just watch the breakthrough year that you will have.
That was outstanding, John. And so we do have a couple of questions. We have a few more minutes left for questions. So it seems like you hit on a nerve here. And there's a couple of questions that are in here on sleep. And I'll just lump them together because it seemed like you touched on something there. Do you recommend naps during the day? And the other question was, how much sleep should I get?
Very common questions. Very, very common questions. Listen, sleep is the bedrock. Naps sort of top off the battery, right? You can take a person who starts a day and by 9 o'clock in 2021 does more than a person used to do in their whole day back in the 1950s. So sleep is not enough. You know, when I'm teaching, I teach people the regeneration energy method. Sleep is only one of those strategies. And I tell you that because naps are part of the regeneration energy method. Properly placed and at the right length given your present situation and circumstances, they are enormously powerful, enormously powerful. And you can do them in a car, you can do them in a bed, you can do them out on a picnic bench, you can do them in the bathroom, you can do them in your office, you can do them in your cubby. They can happen anywhere. Heck, I've done them in the middle of live seminars. Right? What? You've done them in the middle of live seminars? Yep, I've done them right in the middle of live seminars. And quite honestly, you know, just like the pandemic took the stigma off of working from home, in 2021, the stigma off of napping, even in public, is gone. So I absolutely do recommend napping. And as far as sleep is concerned, sleep, the amount of sleep you actually need is always been 8 hours. It's 1 hour of sleep for every 2 hours of wakefulness. Now, that was before the Industrial Revolution. Before the Industrial Revolution. I mean, that's almost mind-boggling, isn't it? So you need at least 8 hours of sleep if you're going to function and perform anywhere close to peak, where you're not burning your body battery out or trading your health for success, which means you probably need more like 9 hours of total time in bed to get 8 hours of sleep. Now, if you've just gone on a vacation and your energy's super high, maybe you can get away with 7. But here's the thing. I'm just giving you one piece of a recovery system, right? When you start learning how to incorporate naps and recovery and meditation and relaxation and rejuvenation, you're going to be complementing your sleep. So the answer is always, it depends, but it never hurts to fall back on the original premise that we learned from our grandparents.
Excellent. Couple other questions here. These are kind of around the diet and food that you were talking about. First one is here. Is junk food all or nothing? Can a person eat a limited amount of junk food and still achieve their health goals?
Well, as coming from my vantage point, health is not a goal, it's a given. Like, the way you live needs to be healthy. And I'm going to get to your question, get to the question. Like, health is not a goal. So if you've got a goal to get healthy, the only reason why you have that as a goal is because you've lost your health. And I can totally understand why people do this, but make it your objective to be healthy. And make it the given, not the goal. Your goals are in life, your business, your sport, your creative pursuits. And that's the driving reason why you live healthy. Now, as far as junk food's concerned, listen, we have a saying: you make real food your health food. You make health food your junk food, and you put junk food in the garbage. The truth of the matter is most health food today is junk food. Real food, that's healthy food, right? Whole nutrient-rich food, that's healthy food. Health food, like all the energy bars and you know, the things with low this and low that and low this and low sodium, in most cases, that is in fact junk food. It's not natural to your body. And heck, I like anybody else like to eat junk food from time to time. I like something that's been processed, not refined. Refined is when you take nutrients out. That's what junk food is. Processed just means, you know, like it was turned into a bread, or was turned into, you know, something that's a little bit more convenient. That's a processed food. Those words are usually used incorrectly. But here's the thing: when you start to live by that framework I just gave you, make real food your health food your junk food, and junk food in the garbage, you really step up your game. And as your body gets used to eating health promoting food, right, you will tolerate junk food less and less and less. And there's absolutely not one junk food in the world today that doesn't have a health food equivalent to it. So go after the health foods if you want to eat some junk food, and put junk food in the garbage, because while you may love it right now, once you cross that barrier and you're starting to live a healthy performance lifestyle, your discipline around not eating junk food will not be about discipline. It'll be about pain avoidance. The reason why healthy people don't eat junk food is because it makes them feel absolutely bad, right? And you don't do things that make you feel bad, but you got to get to the other side of the fence. You got to let your body clean out. You got to let your body clean up. And once you do, you'll tolerate that health food just fine. You can eat it 10% of your diet. And if every once in a while you need to eat a bona fide junk food, let it just be 5% or less of your total diet, and it won't bother you as much. But I assure you, once you start to change and improve and optimize the way you live, and that becomes your new normal, you won't tolerate junk food. It won't become your preference, and you'll just let it go.
Fantastic. This one is referring to the slide you had with the Red Bull, the Monster, the Starbucks, all that. Are you recommending that people just completely get rid of all that and quit drinking coffee and caffeinated beverages altogether? Or is there a moderation in that?
Well, you remember, moderation only applies to healthy ingredients. Moderation doesn't apply to unhealthy things. Unhealthy toxic substances that you put in your body in moderation are still unhealthy toxic substances, right? Yeah, you can get away with a little bit of it, but moderation really applies towards things that are health promoting. In other words, let's say an orange is a healthy food. I wouldn't tell you to eat 10 oranges. You would eat them in moderation, right? But junk food and things like Red Bull, it just depends. You have to ask yourself this question. Like, how quickly do I want to be living with genuine and generous energy reserves, genuinely healthy, so that I'm no longer distracted and held back by, fatigue, weight, and health complications? Like, how quickly do you want to get completely free of that? If you want to have a breakthrough year, you don't want to waste your time with all that stuff, dealing with diabetes and dealing with all these health problems that people have to spend, 2 to 3 weeks a year trying to overcome, going to doctors, going through sick days, et cetera, when they're all really just diseases of lifestyle. So my point would be, in moderation, eat real food and health food in moderation. Okay, junk food, don't eat it at all in moderation. And if you do, yeah, I mean, in the big grand scheme of things, if you're living 80 to 90% like a pro, and one day you ate a piece of cake, your nephew or niece came up to you and they gave you a piece of birthday cake on their, at their birthday party, what are you going to do? Give them a lecture on how it's junk food? No, you're going to eat it. You're going to enjoy it and maybe even just nibble at it. But then you're going to be done with it and you're going to move on. You do the right thing at the right time, at the right level, given the situation and circumstances that you're in. But you want to put yourself in a place where, for the most part, those foods are just not part of the way you eat or live.
Great. So we have 2 more questions here before we run out of time. This one here is, so in the beginning you said bad habits lead to vicious cycles, which lead to downward spirals. So do people get stuck in the black hole of a downward spiral, and how can you help them break these habits to get out of that?
Well, if you go back to those slides, that's a great question. Well, if you go back to those slides, you'll see that, when you have actually more lifestyle skills to work with, you can troubleshoot a situation, right? My father was an engineer, and I guarantee you systems thinking definitely entered my mind when I was assembling the fundamentals of successful living, of healthy and successful living in a performance lifestyle, which took over 20 years, by the way. So you got to be able to assess your present situation and circumstances and find out what the actual real problem is. So, a vicious cycle, typically someone who's eating really poorly, they're not suffering from food alone. They've got some other issue that's going on that you have to ferret out. And, I can almost see these things clear as day, but you have to ferret those out, because one vicious cycle will typically give rise to another vicious cycle, which will give rise to another vicious cycle. And as I mentioned in the presentation, these things all conspire together to create downward spirals. And if you don't have the tools that you learn about in a balanced and healthy performance lifestyle, for the most part, you really can't resolve those problems, because you're just a one-trick pony. You're talking about exercise, or maybe your psychology alone, or you're talking about your diet, or maybe just sleep, when there's a whole lot more that you can bring to the equation to resolve not only 1 or 2 vicious cycles, but you can literally correct course on the entire downward spiral, so that you're moving forward. You're going from here to here to here. And it's a wonderful transition to make. That is true and genuine transformation. And if anybody feels like they know something's wrong, but they can't quite put their finger on it, just reach out to us at lifestylecoach.com. Again, download that ebook, and I'll start to introduce you to some of these principles and practices And then you can always get on the phone with us and we'll help you out.
Outstanding. What a great way to end an amazing webinar. Once again, that's John Allen Mollenhauer. John, manage your energy like a pro. I learned so much here today, and I really want to thank you for all of your support of the Chamber of Commerce as well. And any last parting words before we close it up?
Everybody, the new way forward in 2020 and beyond is learning how to manage your energy like a pro and getting into, you don't go on a performance lifestyle program, you get into a balanced and healthy high performance lifestyle. If you want to have a breakthrough year, and achieve even your most ambitious goals by living in balance with vibrant health and peace of mind, that's how you do it. That is what will give you a breakthrough. Combined with what you know about your industry and your goals, it's going to be amazing. Have a great year, everyone. I look forward to connecting with you soon.